Ladies and gentlemen, we all face moments when the weight of decision-making seems heavier than we can bear. The pressure to choose the right path, to decide wisely, can feel like a burden that leaves us frozen in place. But what if I told you that pressure isn't your enemy? In fact, pressure can be your greatest ally in shaping your destiny. In those moments of stress, uncertainty, and doubt, we have a choice. The difference between success and failure is often the quality of our decisions, especially when the stakes are high. So let's explore how we can make better choices under pressure. It starts with understanding 5 powerful principles. Number 1, stay calm, clear, and centered. When pressure mounts, when the weight of the world seems to come crashing down around you, the first instinct for most people is to panic. We start to feel overwhelmed, anxious, and unsure. The noise, the chaos, the demands, they all begin to feel like they're coming from every direction. But in those very moments, the most important thing you can do is stay calm. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But it's far from easy. Pressure distorts our thinking. It's like trying to make decisions while wearing foggy glasses. You can't see clearly, and every choice feels clouded by emotion and fear. You're hit with a flood of adrenaline and your mind starts racing. What if this goes wrong? What if I can't handle this? What if I make a mistake? These thoughts don't just linger, they take over, hijacking your ability to think logically, to see your options for what they really are. This is where the difference between success and failure begins. You see, the best decisions are made not in the heat of the moment, not when the pressure is at its peak, but in the quiet, reflective spaces in between. The most effective leaders, the people who seem to thrive under pressure, have learned one powerful truth. Clarity comes from stillness. When pressure arrives, you need to take a moment to pause. You might feel like the world is moving too fast, like the clock is ticking too loud, but this is the time to slow down, not speed up. Don't let the urgency of the situation dictate your actions. Your greatest tool in moments like this is your ability to create space. Take a breath. Close your eyes if you need to. Feel your body ground itself in the present. You don't have to make decisions in a whirlwind. You have the power to step back, breathe deeply, and regain your composure. It's in that brief moment of stillness that you reconnect with the voice of reason within you. You might have heard it before, that quiet, almost inaudible voice that rises from deep inside when everything else is screaming at you. In the noise of your emotions, that voice might seem far away, drowned out by fear, anxiety, and doubt. But in that stillness, you can hear it again. It's the voice that whispers, "You know what to do." It's the calm within you that understands the bigger picture, the one that sees beyond the immediate pressure, the one that reminds you of your values and your purpose. This is where clarity is born. The ability to stay calm under pressure is not about suppressing your emotions or ignoring the chaos. It's about creating enough space to separate yourself from it. You can acknowledge the pressure, but you don't have to be consumed by it. You can recognize the fear, the urgency, but you don't have to let it dictate your actions. You have the choice to create distance, to stay centered, and to look at the situation from a calm, clear perspective. And when you do this, when you find your calm amidst the storm, you become more than just a decision maker. You become a leader, not the kind of leader who reacts impulsively or panics when the pressure is on, but the kind who thinks before acting, who makes decisions from a place of clarity, and who can guide others through the storm with confidence. That's the power of stillness. That's the power of staying centered. Now, let's take a moment to talk about what happens when you don't pause, when you don't create that space. Have you ever made a decision in the heat of the moment without taking the time to calm your mind? If so, you know how quickly things can go awry. You act based on emotion rather than reason, and before you know it, you're left with regrets, wondering why you didn't stop to think things through. When you're not centered, you are at the mercy of your emotions, anger, fear, stress. These emotions cloud your judgment, and when emotions run the show, the results are unpredictable at best, disastrous at worst. You may end up making a decision that solves the immediate problem, but creates a new set of problems down the road. A decision made in panic is often a decision made in haste, and haste is the enemy of wisdom. But when you're calm, when you're clear-headed, you can take a moment to assess the situation. You can ask yourself, What is the most important thing right now? What is the right course of action, not just for today, but for the future? This is the moment when you choose your response, not based on fear or impulse, but based on logic, purpose, and vision. That moment of calm gives you the ability to think strategically, to see the bigger picture. You no longer react instinctively, but rather, you respond deliberately. You look beyond the current pressure and evaluate the long-term consequences. You take the time to think about how your decision aligns with your values and your goals. And when you make a choice from this place of clarity, the chances of success increase exponentially. I'll tell you this, the people who can remain calm under pressure, the ones who don't let chaos control their decisions, are the ones who find success in the most difficult situations. It's not about being immune to stress or pressure. It's about being able to rise above it. The pressure will always come, that's a given. But how you respond to it, that's entirely up to you. The key to staying calm is knowing that you have control. You are the master of your reactions. You don't have to be swept away by the emotional tides of the moment. You can stand firm, anchored in your purpose, and choose your response with intention. It is this calmness, this clarity, this ability to be centered that will enable you to make the right decisions, no matter how intense the pressure may feel. So, the next time you find yourself under pressure, don't panic. Don't let the noise drown you. Instead, take a moment to breathe. Take a moment to center yourself. In that space, clarity will emerge, and from that clarity, you will make decisions that not only serve you in the moment, but shape the future you're building. Number 2, focus on the big picture. When you're under pressure, the weight of the moment can easily distort your perception of reality. Everything around you seems urgent, and the world feels like it's closing in. It's natural to get caught up in the flood of immediate concerns, whether it's deadlines, obligations, or emotions. But in those moments of overwhelm, it's essential to remind yourself of a simple yet powerful truth. The choices you make today are not just about solving today's problems. They are laying the groundwork for the future you're creating. Imagine for a moment that you're standing in front of a blank canvas. On this canvas, you have the opportunity to paint your future. Each decision you make is a stroke of the brush, a piece of the masterpiece you're creating. If you focus solely on the small details, you risk losing sight of the bigger picture. If you only pay attention to the challenges of today, the brush strokes you make will be disjointed and chaotic, creating a picture that doesn't reflect the vision you have for yourself. This is why it's so important when under pressure to take a moment and ask yourself a powerful question. What is the larger vision here? When you step back and consider the big picture, it becomes easier to make decisions that align with the future you want. You stop reacting impulsively to the immediate pressure and begin making choices that serve your long-term goals. This is where true power lies, in making decisions from a place of clarity, not chaos. When pressure mounts, we often feel compelled to act quickly, to solve the immediate problem. But the decisions made in a rush are rarely the best ones. This is when you must train yourself to pause, to breathe, and to refocus on the vision that guides your life. If you make decisions based solely on what's right in front of you, you risk forgetting the person you are becoming. And here's the reality. Every decision you make today shapes that future person. Think about it. When you act in alignment with your larger vision, you're making choices that not only solve today's problems, but also build the life you want. Whether it's a business decision, a personal challenge, or a relationship issue, the choices you make today will have a ripple effect on your future. Every choice matters because it's another step toward the person you are becoming. The direction you choose today will either bring you closer to that vision or lead you further from it. In moments of pressure, we often fall into the trap of focusing on what's immediate and urgent. We become consumed with the details, believing that they are the only things that matter. But the truth is, the big picture, the long-term vision, is what will guide you through those moments. When you remember your purpose, your bigger goals, you begin to see the situation in a new light. The immediate pressure becomes less daunting because you're no longer caught up in the short-term problems. You're focused on the long-term rewards. Now, let's talk about how this plays out in the real world. In business, for example, the pressure is constant. Deadlines loom, customer expectations rise, and competitors make their moves. It's easy to get caught in the whirlwind of daily tasks, responding to emails, putting out fires, and dealing with whatever is urgent at the moment. But great business leaders, those who create sustainable success, are the ones who don't just react to the immediate. They stay focused on the bigger vision. They keep their eyes on the end goal, even when the obstacles of today seem overwhelming. Every decision they make is informed by that larger vision. They understand that today's choices are building the foundation for tomorrow's success. The same applies to your personal life. We all face challenges, whether it's a relationship that needs attention, a health issue that requires action, or a personal goal we are striving to reach. When you're under pressure, it's easy to feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. You may be tempted to react to the emotions of the moment or to focus solely on what's in front of you. But when you keep your focus on the bigger picture, on the person you're becoming and the life you want to create, the pressure starts to feel more manageable. You realize that the decisions you make today will either move you closer to your long-term happiness, success, and peace, or they will take you further away from it. What's important to remember is that your choices today are shaping the life you will live tomorrow. Every choice, no matter how small, has an impact on your future. And while the immediate pressures of the moment may seem intense, they are only temporary. But the legacy of your decisions, the person you become because of those decisions, will last a lifetime. So in the midst of pressure, when everything feels overwhelming and urgent, take a moment to pause. Ask yourself, what is the larger vision here? When you focus on the big picture, you start to see things differently. You begin to understand that the choices you make today are not just about getting through this moment. They're about shaping your future. You realize that the person you are becoming is far more important than the circumstances of today. And when you make decisions from this place, you create a life that reflects your true potential, a life that is aligned with your deepest goals and dreams. The key to making great decisions under pressure is keeping your eyes on the prize. Even when the storm around you is fierce, don't get lost in the details. Don't get distracted by the noise. Focus on the big picture. Your future self will thank you for it. The decisions you make today will determine the quality of your life tomorrow, so make them count. Let your choices reflect who you are becoming, not just who you are today. That's how you make the best decisions under pressure, and that's how you build a future that is truly worth living. Number 3, trust your gut. When you're facing pressure, the temptation is always there to overanalyze, to break everything down into facts and figures, and to weigh every possible outcome. Logic becomes the default response, and while logic certainly has its place, it doesn't always give us the answers we need. In fact, there are times when logic is not enough. In those moments, when everything feels uncertain, it's important to remember one thing: trust your gut. Now, I know it sounds simple, maybe even a little abstract. We've all heard that voice inside us, that inner knowing that seems to guide us even when we can't fully explain why. But in those high-pressure moments, we tend to dismiss it. We talk ourselves out of it. We second-guess our instincts, convinced that we need more data, more analysis, more time to figure it out. And in doing so, we often miss the wisdom that's already available to us. Here's the truth. Your intuition, your gut feeling, is a product of your experiences, your wisdom, and your deep understanding of the world. It's built on the lessons you've learned, the challenges you've overcome, and the countless decisions you've made along the way. You may not always recognize it in the moment, but your gut is constantly working, drawing from your past, your values, and your desires to guide you toward the right decision. Think about it for a second. Have you ever had a feeling about something? Maybe it was a job opportunity, a relationship, or a business deal, and everything in your mind said it didn't make sense, but something inside you told you it was right. You didn't have all the facts, you didn't know all the details, but that inner voice, your gut, was telling you that it was the right move, and you acted on it. And more often than not, you were right. That's the power of trusting your gut. It doesn't always follow the logical step-by-step process that we think we need. It doesn't always make sense on paper, but it taps into a deeper level of knowing, a level that comes from everything you've lived through. Your instincts are a roadmap of your experiences, and in those moments of pressure, they're often the best guide you have. But so many times we ignore that inner voice. We overanalyze, we research, we ask for advice from everyone around us. We try to figure out the perfect solution, convinced that there's a flawless answer just waiting to be found. And in the process, We delay decisions, we get stuck in indecision, and we fail to act. And that's where things can go wrong. The longer you hesitate, the more you start to doubt yourself. You start questioning whether your gut was right in the first place, and you lose that immediate clarity that your instincts were offering you. This is especially true when you're under pressure. Pressure makes it easy to fall into the trap of second guessing, of overthinking every possible outcome. And when you do that, you miss the opportunity to act quickly and confidently. In those moments, your gut is your ally. It's the part of you that says, you already know what's right. Trust it. We all have moments in life where we need to make quick decisions. Decisions that could change the course of our future. In those moments, it's easy to become paralyzed by the weight of the decision. But if you've learned to trust your gut, you can make choices with confidence, even when the path forward isn't entirely clear. The key is knowing that the answer doesn't always have to come from a logical process. Sometimes the answer comes from within. Think about it. How many times have you found yourself in a situation where you knew deep down what needed to be done, but you hesitated? Maybe you were afraid to take a risk, or maybe you didn't want to make the wrong decision. But then when you finally trusted your gut and took action, you found out that you were right all along. Your instincts were speaking to you, telling you what felt true and authentic. And you can learn to rely on that inner wisdom more and more. So why don't we trust our gut more often? Why do we question ourselves and doubt our instincts? A lot of times it's because we're afraid of being wrong. We fear making a mistake, especially when the stakes are high. But here's the thing, not trusting your gut is a far greater risk. The longer you sit in indecision, the more opportunities you miss. The longer you overanalyze, the more you lose touch with what truly matters. When you trust your gut, you move forward. Even if it doesn't make perfect sense at the time, at least you're moving. And that movement, that action, is often what leads to success. There's a reason why we often say, follow your heart. Your gut is an extension of your heart. It's the part of you that knows what truly matters, what feels right, and what aligns with your deepest values. When you listen to it, you connect with your true self. And that's when the best decisions are made. Now, does that mean you should throw logic out the window? Absolutely not. Logic and analysis have their place, and they can guide you in many situations. But when the pressure is on, when the clock is ticking and the stakes are high, trust your gut. It knows more than you think. It's been gathering knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from everything you've experienced up until now. And when you listen to it, you'll find that it will guide you toward the right choice, even when the road ahead seems unclear. In the end, trusting your gut isn't about blindly following impulses, it's about trusting yourself. It's about believing that you are capable of making the right decision. It's about knowing that you have the wisdom and experience inside of you to navigate even the toughest situations. And when you trust your gut, you unlock a new level of confidence and clarity. So next time you find yourself under pressure, don't just rely on logic. Listen to that inner voice, trust it, and let it guide you to the right decision. Your instincts are there for a reason. Trust them and you'll find that you're often more capable than you ever imagined. Number 4, ask yourself, what will you regret? When faced with tough decisions, it's easy to be swayed by the immediate pull of fear, uncertainty, or the desire to avoid discomfort. We've all been there, standing at the crossroads of a major decision, paralyzed by the potential consequences. It's in these moments when the pressure is high and the stakes feel overwhelming that we often make choices out of impulse or self-preservation. We try to avoid what feels difficult, seeking out what appears to be the safest option. But let me challenge you to step beyond the noise of the moment and ask yourself one simple yet profound question. What will I regret more? The power of this question lies in its ability to cut through the haze of fear and impulse. When you ask yourself this, you are no longer trapped in the immediate pressures of the situation. You rise above the discomfort of the moment and consider the long-term consequences of your actions or inaction. Think about the decision you're about to make. Will you regret taking the easy way out? Will you regret staying where you are because it's familiar, comfortable, or less risky? Will you regret not pursuing something greater, something that could push you to new heights, open new doors, or change your life? The truth is, when we make decisions out of fear or a desire to avoid discomfort, we are often sacrificing our long-term potential for the sake of short-term relief. It's human nature to want to protect ourselves from pain or to avoid uncertainty. But the best decisions, the ones that truly shape your future, are often those that don't make sense in the moment. They are the decisions made with foresight, with an understanding that the immediate discomfort will eventually pass. But the consequences of inaction or avoidance can last much longer. Imagine for a moment that you choose the easy path. You take the safe route, avoiding the risks, dodging the hard choices. Maybe it's staying in a job that doesn't fulfill you because it's secure. Maybe it's choosing not to take a leap of faith in a relationship because you're afraid of getting hurt. Maybe it's avoiding a difficult conversation or challenging someone you care about because you don't want to rock the boat. In the moment, it feels good, it feels comfortable, but over time, that comfort begins to feel like a weight. You look back and you realize that you didn't take the chance when you had it. You didn't take the risk to move forward, to grow, to reach for something bigger than where you are now. And that's when the regret starts to creep in. The questions begin, what if I had taken that chance? What could have happened if I'd pushed myself just a little further? The fear of regret is powerful. It can be more paralyzing than any fear of failure because it's a silent, constant companion. It doesn't scream at you in the moment, but it lingers, quietly eating away at your peace of mind. You live with the haunting thought of what might have been, the things you could have done, the opportunities you could have seized, the person you could have become. That regret is a burden, and it's a burden that grows heavier over time. On the other hand, when you make decisions with foresight, when you ask yourself what you will regret more and then choose the difficult path, something remarkable happens. You grow. You become more resilient. You build strength and character by facing the challenges that come your way. Even if the outcome isn't perfect, even if things don't go as planned, you won't have to carry the weight of regret. You won't wonder, what if? Because you'll know that you gave it your all. You'll know that you chose the path of growth, the path that allowed you to step outside your comfort zone and reach for something greater. It's important to understand that growth doesn't happen in the easy moments. It happens when you choose to stretch beyond your current limitations, when you push yourself to be better than you were yesterday. And yes, that often requires making difficult decisions. But here's the key. The discomfort of making those hard choices is temporary. The growth that comes from them, however, is lasting. When you look back, you won't regret pushing yourself. You'll be proud that you made the choice that was aligned with your highest potential. Think about the times in your life when you made decisions that pushed you, that challenged you, that required you to step up and face fear head on. Those moments were uncomfortable, weren't they? They made you question yourself. They made you feel vulnerable. But in hindsight, you realize that those were the defining moments. Those decisions shaped who you are today. They gave you the strength and wisdom to handle whatever life throws your way. And even if you stumbled along the way, even if the outcome wasn't what you expected, you can look back with pride, knowing that you didn't let fear or discomfort dictate your choices. So what will you regret more? Will you regret staying in the safety of the known, playing it safe and missing the chance to do something remarkable? Or will you regret not taking the leap, not stepping into the unknown and not pursuing something greater than yourself? The answer is clear, isn't it? The regret of staying comfortable, of avoiding risk, is far more painful than the regret of trying and failing. Failure is temporary, regret lingers. When you make decisions based on foresight, when you consider the long-term impact of your choices, you position yourself for growth. You position yourself to become the person you are meant to be. And that is the kind of decision-making that leads to a life of fulfillment, purpose, and achievement. Don't let fear hold you back. Don't let the pressure of the moment cloud your judgment. Instead, ask yourself, what will I regret more? And choose the path that will lead you to the life you truly want to live. The future, you'll thank yourself for it. Number 5, take full responsibility for your choices. When the weight of the world is pressing down on you, when the stakes feel high and the decisions feel overwhelming, it's easy to fall into the trap of deflecting responsibility. It's tempting in those moments to look for someone or something to blame. If things don't go the way we planned, it's only human nature to seek out an external reason or excuse. It could be the economy, the timing, the market conditions, or even the actions of others. But I want to challenge you today. If you want to be a true leader, if you want to be someone who shapes their future and creates the life they want, then you have to take full responsibility for your choices. Taking responsibility for your decisions is not about accepting blame or carrying the weight of guilt. No, responsibility is not a burden, it is a gift. It is the most empowering thing you can do for yourself because it's the moment you recognize that your choices, your actions, and ultimately your life are in your hands. You are the author of your own story. You are the one who shapes your destiny. The moment you step into that reality is the moment you take back control. You see, when things don't go as planned, when the outcome isn't what you hoped for, it's easy to point the finger. It's easy to say, it wasn't my fault. But what if instead you asked yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? The reality is that every decision, whether it leads to success or failure, has something valuable to offer. If you blame others or circumstances, you give up your power. You become a victim of your environment. But if you take full responsibility, you become the creator of your circumstances. You can look at any situation, any decision, any mistake, and say, I am the one who chose this. And now I will choose differently next time. Taking responsibility means recognizing that you are the one who ultimately makes the decisions. It means accepting that your actions, no matter how difficult, are what determine the course of your life. If you choose to stay where you are because it's comfortable, you are responsible for that. If you choose to take a risk, step outside your comfort zone and go after what you really want, you are responsible for that as well. Whether the outcome is what you expected or not, you are still the one who made that decision, and in that, you have the power to change your path. Now, I know what you're thinking. What if things don't go right? What if you make a decision and it leads to failure or disappointment? It's a fair question. But I'm here to tell you that failure is not something to fear. Failure is simply feedback. When you take responsibility for your choices, you open yourself up to growth. Instead of blaming circumstances, instead of pointing fingers, you can ask, what did I learn from this? How can I do better next time? Each mistake becomes a stepping stone on your path towards success. Each setback is an opportunity to refine your decision-making, to adjust, and to become stronger. You see, a true leader doesn't shrink from mistakes or setbacks. They don't look for someone else to blame. Instead, they embrace responsibility, learn from their mistakes, and use those lessons to move forward with greater wisdom and clarity. They take ownership of their choices, whether those choices lead to triumph or failure. In doing so, they become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. They gain the ability to adapt, to change course when necessary, and to keep pushing forward in the direction of their dreams. Taking full responsibility also means taking control. It means that no one else has the power to determine your fate. You are in the driver's seat. And when you're the one in control, you can change the direction of your life at any moment. If something isn't working, you can adjust. If you've made a wrong turn, you can get back on course. But none of this is possible unless you first take full ownership of where you are and where you're going. When you own your choices, you empower yourself to create the life you want. This level of responsibility requires courage, of course. It's easier to make excuses, to point to external factors, to blame others for the challenges you face. But that's not the path of a true leader. The path of leadership is about looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I am the one who makes the decisions. I am the one who can change my life. When you do this, you step into your power. You step into a place where you can truly begin to create the future you desire. You step into the role of the decision maker, the architect of your own destiny. Imagine what your life could be like if you took full responsibility for every decision you make, every step you take. Imagine the freedom you'd experience if you stopped blaming others or circumstances and instead started owning your actions. What could you accomplish if you truly believed that your choices were yours alone, and that with each one, you were building a future that aligned with your dreams? The possibilities are limitless. So my challenge to you is this: start today. Take full responsibility for your choices. Stop looking for someone or something else to blame. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? Take control of your decisions, take control of your life, and know that the power to change to grow, and to succeed lies within you. When you take responsibility, you take command of your destiny. And that, my friends, is the key to living a life of fulfillment, purpose, and achievement. The journey may not always be easy, but it will always be yours. Own it, embrace it, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. When you take full responsibility for your choices, you unlock the door to a future that's entirely within your control. That's the gift of responsibility, and it's yours for the taking. When pressure comes, remember that it's not the pressure that defines you, it's how you respond. By staying calm, focusing on the big picture, trusting your gut, considering long-term regret, and taking responsibility for your choices, you will navigate life's challenges with confidence. The quality of your decisions shapes your future. So the next time you find yourself under pressure, take a breath, center yourself, and remember, you have the power to choose wisely. Choose with courage, choose with clarity, and choose with confidence. Your future is waiting for you to step into it. Thank you.